You know, this night is brought to us by what happened up on 140th Street, at least the most recent incident that hit the news and caught the community, and that relates to our schools. So, you know, we have to really begin to see how we can make sure that our schools are protected and that our young people in those schools are not terrorized by the activity that's taking place. They are, at that school today, terrorized because of what happened yesterday morning in that school, outside of that school, while they were outside themselves in the playground. This happened, by the way, as you may know, at a very unusual hour, 8:15 in the morning, which tells you that there's something else going on that we need to pay attention to. So, you know, my office obviously is very committed with you in any way that we can be supportive of you individually or in terms of your organization to address this particular issue. And I would hope that you do not hesitate to come across the street to the State Building on the 9th floor and let us know what's on your mind and how you think we can be useful.
This is really not a commercial for the Harlem Clergy Community Leaders Coalition. This is a challenge to all of us to be responsible for our community, because anybody can dial 911. And when you dial 911, they are going to suppress. This is about cultivation.
As a younger brother in the community, you know, as I always say, 2 days off the street corner, you know, as organizations, we always talk about leading through example, but over and over, the youth watch us as organizations not practicing the unity that we're telling them to practice. You know, when we get in the room, everybody's program is better than my program, is better than your program, and the only time we all sit in the room together is when we get gunned down on the street. See, I'm out there with the youth. This is what they see. And this is what they tell me, why should I go there when it's the same thing I got here? So I'm saying, you know, I'm pleading and begging that we don't just have unity when bullets fly. You know, if you don't like my approach as a Panther, work with me on a ground that we can work on. If I don't like your approach coming out of a church or whatever, let's find a common ground and work on the common ground. But we got to stop having false unity and have some sincere love before all these political and religious agendas. We black folks, we live in Harlem. That got to be the number one reason why we're doing this. This ain't the Harlem that I grew up as a little child. It is changing. A lot of things are different, but we can't beat the young people down because of the difference. You know, I got to speak up for them. You know, we are killing each other, and we're tired of burying each other. But we got to come to some sort of solution, but it got to start with a sincere love from each other, because I think everybody in this room really loves this community, and that's why you're doing what you're doing.
Just want to say, I went through all of this in Denver, the gang wars in Denver. And from what I could see here, we're at the infancy of something that is really profound. And we have to recognize some things, because we had some problems that the initial problem was how we started off. We were adults trying to figure out what was going on, and we didn't engage our youth very early on. And the problem that I see here is this problem. They're not here. Now, we have to start off someplace, but very soon, we're going to have them participate in the solutions to these problems here. They have to define it. We're here trying to guess what it is. And you're going to find that some of these kids are going to wind up, I mean, we were going to funerals every week. Some of these kids are going to wind up being involved that fit none of the categories defined here. And it's going to be a surprise to us, and it's going to be too late. This problem is going to be too mature to really wrestle it down. So we have an opportunity here, but this is what happens. Violence erupts, the kids get accustomed to it, the community starts seeing it as an everyday thing.
That's right.
And then, as they get accustomed, this happens. So we go to another level. We need to address it here, and we need to ensure that we have the right people in the room. If we look around the room and we don't see anybody under 18 in this room, we have a problem.
I'm representing Inspector Catalina. He had to go to a meeting in regards to the shooting that we had yesterday in 140. I've been listening to everybody, you know, and it's amazing to see so many people here. I usually work the late hours. and I'm in charge of the rookies, the cops that you see walking up and down the beat. I have 66 police officers, and we have an impact zone. Impact zone is an area that 1PP decides is a high crime area, and the impact zone that I covers from 145 to 137 from Lenox to 8th Avenue. So that's the area that I patrol. Also the whole precinct. I'm usually here at night. The reason you guys probably don't see me is because I work the late hours and I'm out there. I think we've been very successful, and I think some of the reasons we've had some success with crime being down, we still have problems, but compared to last year when I got here, we're down 5 murders and we're down probably 50% in shootings. It's because of the help and people like you, and definitely the pastor. There's still a lot of work. We had a shooting yesterday, and one of the biggest problems is these adolescent youth gang problems. And the shooting yesterday that happened in the morning was a result of that.
To talk about solutions, let me just talk a little bit about the DA's office. Number one, I'm not DA yet.
You DA.
Believe it, speak it and it'll be.
But I believe I'm going to be the DA very soon, on November 3rd. And what I want to talk about is as I've stayed in law enforcement, starting in this office and then in criminal justice as a defense lawyer for the last 20 years, so many of the comments that this wise group of residents brings with me, and it's sustained knowledge and interest by the DA's office in what is happening in this community. And when I started running for office, I talked about having district attorneys from downtown actually participate in, be assigned to, and understand the communities that we serve, so that you have someone who knows this community, who is up here building a crime prevention strategy with you, the community leaders, the clergy, and figuring out how we can help you sustain that effort to support the community, to support our youth, and help keep crime down. So what I guess I'm saying, Reverend, is what I think the DA can do going forward is to be a visible neighbor. Not to work from downtown, but to work uptown and in the community, to sit in a room on a regular basis with the leaders that are here, to ask how we can support you financially and otherwise, for you to teach us how we can play an effective role in crime prevention strategies. That's what we're talking about tonight. It's not about who we're locking up. It's about what we can do as a prosecutor's office using our levers to help prevent crime. So what I guess I want to say, my strategy is to have our lawyers here, players, listening, helping, and that's what I hope to do.
Thank you.
There's no we. And before we can actually and effectively address this problem of youth and youth violence in our community, we have to form a serious we. I mean, not a we that just comes together as a reaction to an event that just took place. We need a we that's communicating on a daily basis, that have sat down and developed goals, strategies, tactics, and the means of getting to our goals. We don't have that. In this room here, we have a bunch of individuals right now. But this problem ain't gonna go away. We can't just come out and march and have meetings and talk about each explosive event that happened. Suddenly we come together and then we're talking to one another. And then when we leave out this door here, everybody's going back to their little boutique or whatever it is that they're working on. Harlem Children's Zone is going back there. The other groups are going back to their organizations. That's not it. That's not a we. We need to sit down here and we need to put together some kind of hierarchical structure, some kind of group structure where people are responsible for seeing that we move the agenda forward.